I was a go-karter. My dad was, I've been going to race since I was 2 years old, but different than you'd think. I was at dirt track racing in Northern California. I'm from Sacramento, and my dad raced dirt late models and stock cars, street stocks, all sorts of stuff. So I grew up around sprint cars and dirt racing, and then my dad had a tire store when I was young, and some guy came in when I was about 11, 12 and said, hey, you guys ever tried go-karts? My dad was spending way too much money on race cars, so he said, yeah, let's try go-karts. And there we went, and I never looked back. I quit playing baseball, which I was doing a lot of, and went to racing, and my dad and I traveled all over the country and raced. And I came all the way through Formula cars, and I was more, towards the IndyCar thing. And then I won a test with BMW after winning a championship, and that's where my BMW history was, and here I am, still in a BMW.
We're going to talk to some of the other guys about their job. Now, did you ever do any other job besides driver?
I've never been paid for anything other than like a mechanic at a race shop or racing cars. I had my own karting school when I was growing up, and that's how I paid for a lot of my racing. And so I got paid for that, but I was an owner. So I've never collected a paycheck from anybody, but I can tell you, my wife and I were just talking about it. I started working when I was like 8 years old for my dad. I used tire store, used car lot, used batteries, all that. And so I was selling cars and tires when I was young. And running a cash register. My dad would make me run the cash register and do anything with numbers, and didn't let me use a calculator or anything so I could learn. And so I grew up at a tire store. I didn't have summer vacations. I was at the tire store on summer vacation working, but I can tell you that my family, my parents were good to me and my brothers. We got to go. We still went to Marriott's and Disneyland and all these places still, and had a good time. But in the summer, we worked it off. Yeah.
If you had to switch jobs with one of these guys, what would you be good at?
On the team.
Yes, on the team.
Well, I think I'm a decent engineer. Maybe I don't have the book engineering, but maybe like a crew chief. Like I'm kind of a seat of the pants kind of guy. That's the way I drive, is by the seat of the pants always. I just kind of wing it. And there's great engineers that are really good with the book. Luckily, I have engineers here that are good with the book, but also good seat of the pants. Probably books aren't my strong point, but I got some good seat of the pants that I can, think fast on my feet.
Okay, you would trust your engineer to get in the car, right?
Well, if they trust him, I trust him. Not my car. So BMW, if they say he's good, then he's good. Yeah.
I started racing go-karts when I was 11 years old, and I did that for about 7 years. That was just with my father and my brother, and we were traveling around the UK. Just going to all kinds of different circuits and different championships and different races, and it was a huge amount of fun. It was a great way to start in motorsport. Then I went from that to racing cars in 1990 when I was about 18, and it was that was great just to get into car racing, getting into single seaters, learning my craft at a very good early age.
Have you ever done any other job besides driver?
Have I done anything else? No. I mean, I've been pretty much living the dream the whole time. So I can't say I've really done anything else. I suppose I worked for about 8 or 9 months, packing shelves and just doing some stuff at a warehouse.
Now, if you had to switch jobs with one of these guys here, what job would you be good at?
What job would I be good at? I don't think I'd be good at any of these jobs. I would be a mess. As soon as I pick up a wrench, it's just game over. So they try and keep me away from all of that stuff. They don't let me work on anything because they think, well, we're only going to have to redo it, or it's going to break. Or sometimes they might let me adjust my seat belts, or maybe put the wheel in a different position. But apart from that, I'm on my own. I can't do anything.
So we're talking to guys about how you got your start in motorsports. How did it happen for you?
Well, my father, Kevin, is the largest restorer of Porsche race cars pretty much in the world. So racing's been in my blood since I was born. I grew up around famous Porsches that had won Daytona, Le Mans, Sebring. He had been crew chiefs on teams as well, so I'd always go to the kid, and I wasn't old enough to get in the pits and wasn't even big enough to fake it yet, so I'd be on the fence watching. And so, knew Derek Bell and Bob Wallach and Brian Redmond and John Paul Jr. as I was growing up. And then he had some form car Formula Vs from like the 60s, early 60s. They were all sitting there and they were kind of in bad shape. And I said, hey, if we get those running, you think I can drive them? And he's like, yeah, sure. And this time I'm 15. So a buddy of mine and I worked and worked and worked. We got him running, and we got to drive him out at Moroso, the local track. And then really, at the end of the day, Champion Porsche had loaned us a Porsche Boxster for playing around in. Paul Newman was there also because he's a family friend through racing. And my dad asked me at the end of the day, he said, hey, you want to go for a ride in the 904? I said, no, you want to go for a ride with me in the Boxster?
Yeah, give me the keys.
Yeah, and he actually said yes. And so I took him around for a couple laps, and at the end of it, he said, oh, wow, you know, the kid actually has some talent. So that was the official start. And then, you know, long story short, I ended up doing the 24 Hours of Daytona with Paul Newman. I was the youngest at the time. He was the oldest at the time. And Paul was really influential in my early career. And here we are today.
Did you ever have another job in racing besides driver?
Yes. Well, let's see. I've done it all. When I was 15 or 16, Champion Racing with their GT1 was actually running out of our shop in West Palm. And I traveled around with a team on a couple road trips. I rode in the truck from Florida all the way out to California. Swept the floors, washed the car, waxed the car, cleaned the wheels, you know, did the whole bit. And that was really, really fun because I'm a racer at heart, regardless of what it is. And probably the most memorable pre-Sebring job, or pre-racing job for me was in 1999, my dad had loaned a couple of guys to Dennis Ozzie to do the 12 Hours of Sebring. And he said, hey, Gunnar, why don't you go out there and help? And I'm 16 years old. I'm still not even technically old enough to get into the pits. Well, they didn't have a fueler. So they say, oh, Gunnar, you're tall enough. You think you can fuel the car? I'm going, well, I've never fueled a car before, but sure, I'll give it a try. So I think I practiced 2 times, and he said, okay, that's good enough. So I fueled the car for the whole 12 Hours of Sebring, and we finished on the podium. We finished 3rd in GTU, I think. So, and the next year, I was in the 12 Hours of Sebring.
Of all the guys here, which job could you guys switch and you would be good at?
See, yeah, that's the thing. I definitely wouldn't say I'm not mechanically inclined, but I'm not the best mechanic, so we definitely would say, yeah, not that. I think I'd be a pretty decent engineer, but I think I could change a tire pretty well too.
We're talking to guys today about how you got your start in racing. Grasshopper, how did you get your start in racing?
Well, I started when I was 10 years old in Mexico.
Man, that's kind of old for most guys, you know.
I know, I know, but I started in go-karts in my hometown, Mexico City. I don't come from a family that I actually am the first racer in the family, and yeah, since I remember, I used to wake up early in the morning to watch the Formula 1 races, and I always love it, you know. And
what did your parents do for work?
My father worked in a company selling wines, and my mother, she used to work at home.
She stayed home and took care of you.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm a lot of travel, so she had a lot of work to do with me.
Now, did you ever do any other job in racing?
No, well, coaching, you know, but nothing other. I mean, I think what the mechanics do, it's amazing. I cannot do that, you know, so I really admire them all. I mean, they are the first ones in the track, and I think they are the ones that work the hardest. So
what about tire changer? Could you change a tire?
With help of other 3, maybe yes. It's very tough.
So, okay, no engineer, no tire changer. What other job do you think you might be good at?
Maybe driving the golf cart, you know, something like that. But or maybe the truck.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it. Maybe the truck.
Yeah, maybe.